Um, and those weak ties can move into create or process into stronger ties. And basically, the idea is that, again, close or strong ties are not always the best. It says research has found that weak tie network members can afford a number of advantages over stronger ties when it comes to providing support in sensitive and problematic circumstances. For instance, weak tie may provide a vital lifeline to those who lack the requisite skills or cognitive skills for intimate relationships. Um, Weak ties often provide access to diverse points of view that you cannot always get with your strong ties. Um, and basically it says for a variety of reasons, strong tie support networks can be perceived as inadequate or incapable of providing satisfactory support, and a range of factors, both practical and psychological, have been shown to influence an individual decision to pursue weak tie support networks as an alternative. For example, researchers have found that family members and friends often minimize the concerns of significant others who are seeking support for difficult health problems. It's not that bad. Don't worry about it. In many cases, it is not uncommon for close ties to steer conversational topics away from emotional talk about problems, refrain from in-depth discussion of such topics, or avoid consequent interaction altogether. Let's not talk about that. Ugh, I don't want to talk about mom's cancer. I'm not. It's too. So sometimes strong ties are not the best ties. And then it goes further. Because other computer media support group members may also be contending with similar concerns, similar health situations. The similarity between members in terms of health concerns increase empathy and understanding of the situation and fosters opportunities for other types of emotional support, such as affirmation and validation. And sometimes, folks in your close ties might not be going through the same stuff you're going through. So weak ties can be good. I like ties. Another cool theory called social information processing theory. Meat. Processing meat. I love processed meat. It's so good for you. It's so tasty. I love myself a hot dog. But I learned this the other day. Hot dogs are not natural. I mean, you don't like butcher a cow or a pig and find a hot dog. There's a liver, there's kidneys, there's there's meats. It's a hot dog. With dairy cows, you actually get cheese hot dogs. right in there, next to the spleen. Oh, spleen burgers. Like I saw that on Bizarre Foods. Oh, clean my spleen. Delicious. Okay, so basically the idea here is information processing theory, social information processing theory. Message senders portray themselves in a socially favorable manner to draw the attention of message receivers and foster anticipation of future interactions. Very similar to some of the stuff that we were talking about when we were talking about online dating and self-presentation and presentation management and all that type of stuff. So we oftentimes use that idealized image of ourselves when we are communicating online or in even text-based, non-face-to-face situations, which might lead to issues of hyperpersonality. And I mentioned hyperpersonality before. It's basically this idea that we have an exaggerated sense of closeness that we might not get face to face. It's sort of like, the analogy or the idea is that if you're on some sort of online dating thing and this person looks great, yeah, and then you meet face to face and it's like, so the idea, hyperpersonal interaction is enhanced when no face-to-face relationship exists, so that users construct impressions and present themselves without the interference of an environmental reality. Hyperpersonal interaction has been found to skew perceptions of relational partners in positive ways, and in some cases, computer-mediated relationships may exceed face-to-face interactions in terms of intensity, including within online support groups. So there's something, it's sort of counterintuitive, but there's something about the exaggerated sense of intimacy and closeness that actually can be helpful. I feel like I'm getting more intense support here. I really like this person. This person is very... The next little theory, optimal matching theory. Match. This theory is on fire. Basically, it says that but when we have needs, we look for folks' emotional needs or whatever to fulfill those needs. We want to find the optimal match. If I am lonely, I want somebody to help me not feel lonely, not go buy me a burger because I'm not hungry. I'm lonely. If you're lonely and hungry, then go to Wendy's or something. The optimal matching model posits that maybe use posits a lot. I posit that. The optimal matching model posits that an optimal match between the needs of support seekers and the resources, abilities of support providers is important in terms of coping with the many relational challenges associated with communicating social support. Yeah, okay. If, for instance, somebody is seeking support and validation for an eating disorder, and he or she perceives that members of his or her own support network have competently listened, expressed empathy, and acknowledged the severity of the issue, then that would be considered the optimal match. But sometimes you don't get that face to face. So basically, this model has been applied to a variety of face-to-face supportive contexts, but more research needs to be done on computer-mediated support. But the big idea here, I think, is that we can get more, sometimes, a more optimal match of what we need online versus face-to-face. Because sometimes we can't get it face-to-face. So that's pretty much it. And then, well, I already talked about this perspective may help to provide important insights into the supportive needs of individuals who seek computer-mediated support. For example, drawing upon an optimal matching theory framework, Eichhorn found that informational support through shared experiences was the most common type of support for members of an online support group for eating disorders. So, informational support. Moreover, Sullivan found that men were more likely to seek informational support within online support groups, whereas women were more likely to seek emotional support and validation. Informational support is like, okay, I've got this. What do I do now? Get me my information. Whereas, obviously, more emotional support and validation is, I'm here for you. You're okay. But it's interesting. So folks can oftentimes find that via CMC. Okay. So we need more research. That's basically the last little section that, when it comes to issues of the efficacy, or the right word, of social support, we need more research. But the research as it stands right now, even though this might be again counterintuitive, it's social support online is good, which is interesting because this is the stuff that I was going to say. I added more KC stuff. I have little links here to various websites I found. One's from the Mayo Clinic. You know what the Mayo Clinic does? They make mayo. That's why they make Dukes. Delicious sandwiches in the Mayo Clinic. So support groups make connections, get help. So it talks about what support groups are and how they function. The Mayo Clinic doesn't. You know what the Mayo Clinic is. It's very top medical institutions, whatever, in the world. Benefits, how to find one. Search the internet. Online support groups are available as email lists, news groups, chat rooms, blogs, and social networking sites such as Facebook. There was some really interesting stuff I found in here. Questions to ask, blah, 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 support groups. Here, the red flags. Promises of a sure cure. Join our group where you will learn how to eat. It's like fad diets, right? Eat this chocolate and you will lose 20 pounds in 20 minutes. If the meetings become sort of gripe sessions, that's bad. The group leader urges you to stop medical treatment. Just do this. Don't take your drugs. High fees to attend the group. That's a no-no. Pressure to purchase products or services. And if you call within the next 10 minutes, you will get a nut chopper. I can't do this all day. Disruptive members, judgment of your decisions. And then they do specifically say be careful about internet support groups. Cues are sometimes used to prey on vulnerable people. Be aware of the possibility that people may not be who they are, say they are, or maybe trying to market a product or treatment instead of actually offering social support. Be careful about revealing personal information such as your full name, address, or phone number. Understand the terms of use for a particular site and how your private information may be shared. Don't let internet use lead to isolation from your in-person social network. So maybe they sort of work together, but the Mayo Clinic, and I've read a lot of this stuff, a lot of folks in the medical profession are not terribly, I think, keen on online support, even though the research says that. It's good. Maybe they're just jealous. And then there's also just this idea of creating a support group is fun. So this is just some from Health Central, and it talks about how to start a support group if you ever wanted to start a support group. I posted something on Facebook today that I thought was really, really funny, some British something or other where it was sort of like a Saturday Night Live skit, but some dude was addicted to memes. And so you could have an online meme addiction support group. I don't know. All right, so we got that, and then we also have here, if all else fails and you don't know how to do something, WikiHow will tell you how. So how to start a support group. Find help. Look, he's so happy. I'm going to go find a support group. Ooh, it's fun. Sun chips. Buy now. Ask other groups how they got started. Go team. Seek out professional assistance. Planning your support group. He's thinking. I don't know. He's thinking about his kid is reading something. Understand your motivation. Determine scope of the group. What's your temporary, short-term, seasonal entity? Permanent. What is it? Okay, determine when you're going to have. Is it curriculum-based, topic-based, open forums? Where are you going to meet? He's going to the library. A lot of these things sort of assume that you're going to be doing face-to-face stuff. And that's interesting. So, they're doing the hand job. Hand job, baby. Okay. So I'll let you look at these, but what I'm going to do for the next forum is ask you to think about if somebody puts you in charge of creating an online support group, how would you go about doing that, and what would it look like, and what kinds of things would you like to communicate to the people in that group? That's pretty much it. All right. Have a good rest of the night. Actually, I'm feeling better. This lecture made me feel better. It's getting support by talking about support. Okay. All right. Good enough. Take care, have a good weekend, and I will be in touch and have more stuff to you at some point.